Hi viewers, Arthmael here, back with another quick build video. Last time I was looking at my Demon Hunter, and my male Demon Hunter was utilizing the Natalia set and getting the benefit for Reign of Vengeance. This particular one I'm following actually my female Demon Hunter and running with a build that I'm calling my Great Balls of Lightning, sort of after the goodness gracious Great Balls of Fire, but this is Great Balls of Lightning. It's utilizing the Meticulous Bolts set, quiver, which I know a lot of people have that sort of setup and build going. This is my version. It's not the most ideal build, I know, but I find it works really well for me, and had the luck of just in the last couple of weeks finding a Kridershot bow to really complete it off. So been looking for that for nearly 2 years, I think, or it feels like 2 years. So we'll just go over the set pieces or the items I'm using, have a look at the Paragon and the skill setup, and then we'll go in and do a riff so you can actually see it in action. So I'm pretty much running the 6-piece set for Marauders, and we're running with the helm, and I haven't found an ancient one of these, but I've got a fairly decent rolls on it, and I'm just running with some life in running with the amethyst in the helm. The shoulders, we're running with increased sentry damage, obviously trying to roll it up to 15%, but this is the best I could get without keep going and using all my other crafting materials. Same with my chest piece, running the Marauder's chest piece with increased sentry damage. Again, managed to get it to 14. Hopefully, ideally, one day I'll be up to 15 and have better stats on it as well. The gloves, which rolled pretty well, and they come in an ancient variety. Pants, we're running ancient as well. And the boots, which the boots have managed to reroll elemental arrow damage on. Again, it would be nice to be at 15%, but the 14 is pretty good. For our rings, we're not running the Royal Ring of Grandeur, so we're running the Bastions of Will set with Restraint and Focus. And as part of those, like Focus has Bane of the Trapped legendary gem in it, and Restraint has the legendary gem of the Enforcer, increasing our pet damage, which then goes on to our actual sentry damage. With those as well, if you have a look at the set bonuses, when you hit with a resource spending attack or resource generating attack, you get 50% increased damage for 5 seconds. So we're pretty much using that excuse me, constantly all the time. And I've got a 50% increased damage on like 100% of the time that we're running around, or 99% of the time we're running around anyway. For the amulet, we're running the Golden Gorget of Leoric. It's the best I've found so far for this particular character, and it's running the legendary gem Bane of the Powerful. So with the Bane of the Trapped, we're getting the increased damage against slowed or control impairing effect enemies, which we're getting from our spiders, and I'm actually running the polar stations for the sentries, so they actually slow things down as well and have a control impairing effect. For the belt, the best I've got and that I've been running with for a long time is my Witching Hour. It has some pretty good stats on it. Obviously it'd be ideal to find an ancient one, but I'll keep on looking for that particular version. So the main weapon obviously is the Kridershot that I found. So this now makes my elemental arrow generate hatred instead of use hatred. It's perfect. I don't need any resources at all, really. The only thing I obviously need is discipline, just to be able to vault around and that sort of thing, but pretty much never run out of hatred with it. I was able to use a Ramadali's gift on it to give it a socket so I could reroll the damage, so we've got increased damage. Obviously again, it'd be nice to have an ancient version, but this does the job at the moment. And then the whole core of it, I suppose you'd say, is the Meticulous Bolts, which allows elemental arrow ball lightning now to travel at a certain % speed. Obviously the lower you can get it, the better. At the moment I'm running with 39%, so it's probably at the higher end. It would be better if it was at 30, but I still find that it's really effective. I don't think the stat with it running any much, like the 9% difference is not a great deal at all. Also managed to reroll increase the elemental arrow damage on it, and I've got that up to 14% as well. So we've got 28% elemental arrow damage between our boots and our quiver, and then another 28% for our sentry damage, which is coming from our chest and our shoulders. So we'll have a quick look at the skills now. So the skills, obviously we're running Elemental Arrow Ball Lightning for our primary one. It's pretty much all that we really use between that and our sentries, which we just keep popping out ahead of us, and they keep generating the ball lightning obviously when we do as well. For my right click, I'm using Smoke Screen just for those really sticky situations. In particular, excuse me, for this build, when you go up to a group of like reflect damage, it comes in really handy to avoid all that damage that you're going to get initially when they're reflecting obviously the ball lightning damage back to you. So yeah, sentries with the polar station, this gives us the slowed effect as well. Vault, which I think is pretty much a staple for a lot of demon hunters with tumble. Our companions obviously, because we want to have them all available all the time. And the spider also helps towards your slowing effect, and obviously the wolf for increased damage and that sort of thing. Also running Rain of Vengeance with Shade, not that I use it a lot, but if I get into a situation where I've got a lot of groups around me and I just want to get through it a lot quicker, I'll just drop that and hopefully it'll get rid of a lot of things too. So passives, running Colour of the Week, which helps obviously with our polar stations and the spider and slowing things down and giving us increased damage all the time. Custom Engineering, where we can have an additional sentry. This one's optional. I'm using Archery just to have the 8% increased damage because I'm running a bow. A lot of people will probably substitute this one out for Steady Aim or most likely Awareness when you reach fatal damage. I find I don't really need to use that much in T6 at the moment. Obviously when we get into the new stuff that's coming with T7 to 10, it could probably be called upon instead of the archery. And then finally I'm running Ambush, where I do additional damage to enemies above 75% health. Now again, this is just my setup. There's all these different versions out there, but I find this works well for me. Paragon points. So my core points, I pretty much got everything into dexterity, but I do run a little bit into movement speed just so I can get around a bit better. Not that I need to get around too much because I'm keeping, you'll see I'll keep the actual sentries ahead of me, and they're the ones that are actually killing off all the enemies. For offense, I actually start with critical hit damage, then chance, and then your choice between these two. I normally go for cooldown reduction, mainly because I want to get the sentries out a lot quicker. And I find that my attack speed at this higher level of Paragon that I'm on, it's competing with everything pretty well. For defense, so I'd normally go with life, resist all armor, and then the remainder into life regen for this one. And then utility, where pretty much don't really need resource cost reduction, but then again I don't really need gold find either, so it's pretty much going into area damage, life on hit, resource cost reduction, and then gold find. So we'll jump into Rift and see how we go. You'll be able to see the build in action, and then yeah, we'll get to the Rift Guardian and probably call this quits. So you can see that I just dropped my polar stations and then just start firing my lightning balls, and they pretty much annihilate everything that gets anywhere near us. We can pretty much continue to do that all the time, and they'll just handle everything that just even comes towards us. They get stunned, slowed, and then they're killed off pretty quickly. Nothing down this end, but we'll just check to see if there's any legendaries. So we'll vault around to our next group. Hopefully they're not going to be far away. It's not as dense as what I thought this would be. So we'll drop our polar stations ahead of us and then just start shooting the lightning. And again, you can see how effective it pretty much is. Okay, so we've got ourselves some elites here. We'll do our pet call, and they're pretty much gone. I was never really keen on it to start with, mainly because of all the, obviously the graphic stuff that goes on, because there's a lot going on the screen with all the lightning balls flying around, but it works really, really well. So here I'm just going to drop Rain of Vengeance, because these guys are molten and I don't really want to get stuck by them. So again, we just keep the polar stations ahead of us, and they pretty much do all the damage. being as effective with dropping the stations as I thought in the video. I think I'm a bit nervous. I keep hitting the station before I actually really need it. The turret, I should say. Where is everybody? It's deserted. So yeah, as you can see, it's quite effective. Like, they don't even get the chance to get anywhere near most times before they're dead from all the damage that you're doing. If you have a look down the bottom above my skill bar, you can see the third icon there is actually the Bastions of Will set, giving me the 50% increased damage. So as soon as you obviously reach an enemy and hit them, that triggers. Oh, so this should be a good map because it's quite an open one. So we'll pop some turrets around. Make sure it deals with anything that comes our way. You can see that the Bastions of Will with the 50% increased damage just keeps coming. So we've got another set of champions here. We'll just get out of the way of these belly bouncing. And he's pretty much gone around. And the actual lightning balls just keep travelling as well, so if you travel with them, they'll keep travelling on the screen for a period of time anyway. And they're obviously keeping the Bastion of Will bonus up as well because it's classed as a hit against something, so it can be a bit messy at times. You're sort of around the map and you've got turrets everywhere, especially in like these open sort of areas, but obviously you can see the effectiveness of the damage that it does. So some champions here, we'll just get out of the way. Hopefully we're not far off from the Rift Guardian. So we've got another set of elites here. We'll head to the middle bit. There's normally stuff around there. We've got another set of elites. So you can see this guy hasn't even got to me and he's pretty much lost more than half his health. These smaller things as well, like the really trashy mobs, get annihilated too. And we've got ourselves a Rift Guardian. We'll head up this way. We'll just plant on his star with. I'm sure he's gonna jump in here somewhere. There he is. So we'll do our pet call, drop another thing, turret, and do our shade, and you can see how quickly this guy is just going to end up dying. And that's pretty much it. Works really well. You can see why I sort of call it my great ball of lightning one, because he just is continually shooting off these balls of lightning. So hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it was a little bit informative. Yeah, I hope to bring another video shortly with a little bit of a glimpse at the new stuff that's coming in patch 2.3 and the Ruins of Sescheron, which is a new level that you can play as part of adventure mode. Again, thanks for watching. Catch you next time.